What's the actual cost of training an apprentice? Now, we know that we have the apprentice's wages to take into account, and they've also got trade school fees. But I'm talking about today training the apprentice using somebody that is your specified trainer in salon. And we're just looking at the cost of that today with this exercise. Okay, let's move through. The trainer's predicted revenue might be $120 per hour. What I mean by that is they would normally be on the floor looking after clients and making $120 per hour. Your salon might be different. So when you are looking through this, playing along, mapping this out yourself, pop in a different number. I'm going to do it on $120 per hour. Next, what we're going to do is times it by the amount of hours that you're going to dedicate to training. So for this exercise, we're doing 3 hours of training per week with an apprentice, and that would be what would be recommended. So $120 an hour times by 3 equals $360 that you're not getting from that senior doing the training because they are now training an apprentice. Now, that number that we used before, now we want to look at the actual schedule of your salon because we all operate our training schedules very differently. So I'm going to do an example one here. There's 52 weeks in a year. We might be only open for 50 weeks and the team member has 4 weeks of annual leave. However, they are going to take 2 weeks when it's closed and an additional 2 weeks. They also have 8 days of sick leave. So let's imagine that the worst case scenario, they miss 2 weeks of training. That brings that number now down to 46 weeks of in-salon training. And then there's no training all through Christmas time, maybe Easter, and maybe there's some other times throughout the year where you might go overseas or there's some significant things that are happening in your business, closure for renovations. And now that number goes down to 40, which is really interesting because we have now knocked 3 months, 12 weeks off their training schedule. And this is what happens because people are sick, things happen in our business, and we say, oh, don't worry about training this week. Wow. It impacts in their overall growth and your overall return. Let's have a look at these numbers now. So the yearly cost of in-salon training would be training weeks of 40 weeks a year as the example. Trainer revenue loss is $360 per week, is $14,500 per year. It costs in the opportunity to have made that with your senior is not being made because they're doing the training. $14,500 you've invested in training by using that senior. Per month, that equates to $1,200 and per quarter, $3,600. So per month, you're investing around about $1,200 of loss in revenue off your senior to be able to reinvest back into your apprentice. Let's look at your return investment because now that you know that's the cost, what are we going to do about it? Because it should make you feel like, oh gosh, we better get a return on my investment quick, smart. Yes. And that's why we have things like the Salon Apprentice Trainer Program, and we've got Apprentice Accelerator to really take it seriously on getting a return on your apprentices. Okay, so we're imagining a scenario of a full-time first-year apprentice. You may want to look at them getting to $2,000 a week. That's the goal. The second year, you may be looking at 2,470. This is based on around about 3.5 times the current wage rates at the time that I'm doing this. Third year, you might look at $99 per hour or 3,762. Qualified is 4,560. So these are the targets or benchmarks that you're training them to get towards. It's not just the skill, it's what the outcome they can create with that skill. So here's the thing. You've trained them and it's cost you $14,500 per year. But with the right amount of training and the right amount of strategy, they're returning you $83,500. In the second year, they're returning you $98,800. Third year, over $150,000, and qualified $182,000. Now, when you're thinking, I don't know about taking a senior off the floor to be able to invest in training my apprentice, how do you feel about investing $14,500 each year to know that you're going to be getting $182,000 return? That's a really good return on investment. Maybe the concern is not about the senior being off the floor or the apprentice being off the floor, but the concern is, do we have a really good training plan, and are we really strategizing to make the most during that time? Do we have a catalog of models? Do we have a training plan that's easy to follow? Because if we've got those things, that is a really simple and amazing return on investment.